Good evening and welcome back. This is Delani Amon with Harambee Radio. This last hour of my weekly 4-hour show is a brother that I've seen his name around quite often over the years, and a lot of times we take for granted the work that each other do online. We just continue to see the things, and we never really stop. And this good brother is a brother that I think he would call himself the editor or the owner of Ghetto Tymz magazine. I'm speaking about Brother Ishangi. How you doing, my brother?
Peace. Greetings. How are you?
Yeah, welcome to Harambee. So nice to get you to come on. I know that you had contacted us and you had mentioned that you were interested in being part of the dialogue of whatever was going on. And I want you to know that here at Harambee, your family now, once you come through the door, your family forever. So let's get some dialogue taken care of. What's happening up in the Big Apple?
Try to stay warm, number one.
Yeah, I was on your website, man, and you got a lot of information on there and a lot of different subject matters, and you wanted to know what we would talk about on the show. Well, here at Harambee, we don't really do no rehearsal kind of stuff, and it's like two brothers just hanging out up in Queens or up in Brooklyn, just shooting the breeze, and that's how we're going to do it. We don't need no long, drawn-out dissertations about anything. I just want to know, because I come up to New York on occasion and speak at Medgar Evers College once in a while, and I get a feeling about what's going on up there. There's a lot of black folks up there at that part of the country, but I'm just trying to get some flavor from it because you're up there all the time. Are our people doing okay up in that area?
I like to wish that we were. That, you know, it's a lot of us up here, you're right. But as far as things getting done, as far as, you know, situations getting even any better for us as a collective, I think not. We've been going through a lot of just, you know, I think we're still on this quest of trying to find out who our next leader is supposed to be instead of self-appointing ourselves.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, your Ghetto Tymz thing has been around a while, am I right?
Yeah, this April it'll be our 12th year anniversary. Yeah, and, you know, we've been doing it for a minute.
Yeah, because I've been seeing that online, man. I guess, I don't know, it seems like ever since I've been online, I've been seeing that, and I never really knew what was going on with that. So do us a favor, because you're talking to people from all over the country, all over the world, as a matter of fact, and this is a very, very good opportunity for you to enlighten them about who you are and what the magazine represents, what you're doing online, offline. Let this be your moment to educate the masses worldwide, and we don't normally have our own sources, and part of what Harambee Radio is all about is giving everybody an opportunity to educate. This is not about Delani Amon or any particular member of the Harambee staff. This is about having people come on there that feel like they have something to impart on the people. So we have you on here right now, and I know you can speak on a lot of different subject matters, and I'm not going to try to pin you down to any particular thing because I know that you're very knowledgeable and you can go at us about any number of things. So let us know a little bit about where you're coming from.
Okay, peace. You know, number one, I think the Ghetto Tymz magazine is simply that. I think the name can be misleading, but we use it because if I call it African Times, you know how black people are, you know, as a majority, we don't even like to consider ourselves African. So, you know, the most of us dwell in the ghetto, and I really do believe just that you have your New York Times and your LA Times, that the ghetto needs their own times where we're getting information about us, about things that affect us, things that are pertinent to us as a people, as a collective, and definitely trying to get us to a level where we should be naturally. The issues that we talk about are not your average gossip or, you know, one ads or stuff like that. What we really try to deal with is self-reliance, information from a Pan-African perspective. And this deals with a lot of free thinking, which I like to call it, which means that we go against the norm. We go against, you know, we're not afraid to do research and to try to create dialogue on issues such as religion, spirituality, conspiracies, health. These are a number of issues that we try to deal with because the educational system that is part of this Western Eurocentric society does not teach us who we are, and it is their business to make sure that we don't know who we are, because we're better components to be slaves under this system. So we're trying to give exposure and bridge a gap between the scholastic work of Dr. Clark and Dr. Ben and all those other giants that I stand upon their shoulders, and try to create a medium and add a little ebonics to it for the people in the hood. Because, unfortunately, a lot of us are not reading, and it's not so much that we don't want to read books, it's just about how you go about speaking to people. If you use a dialogue that talks above you, and not so much as far as status or intelligence, but academia. If you're going in speaking in the hood and you're talking like you're in front of a bunch of college students, you're keeping an attention span that's not going to last. So we try to use street language, which is what we are naturally anyway, and speak about the same issues and try to inform us about opportunities and alternatives that we could have that in the school system we normally wouldn't get.
Well, that's very good, my brother. I'm glad to know that you're up there in the Big Apple holding it down, because we need more people out here promoting our Africanness and rejecting the Eurocentric logic that some people tend to think that we must embrace or else. And my feeling is if we must embrace it, then we're no longer going to be black people. And it depends on where your perspective on that is. And I think that we have an obligation to continue our blackness at all costs. To me, it doesn't really matter about our social status. We have to remain black people because that's what God created us to be. And it would be an abomination to turn our back on our blackness for some dollars or to be accepted by some enemies and these kind of things. So it's good to see someone in another geographical location, another age bracket, that's saying the same things I'm saying. Because I'm 49 years old, and I've already done the child raising thing and been around white folks all my life. I've done almost everything you can name, and I'm convinced that if we continue on this path, we're going to be not only an endangered species, but extinct. People not even going to be able to remember the last time they saw a real black person, because we'll be rejecting and throwing away everything about who we are just because we want to blend in. So what you're really saying in your magazine is that you believe in promoting who we are because that's the only way we can keep our identity.
Definitely, absolutely, and that's the main reason why we do what we do. I understand that in multimedia, propaganda is what wins. And we're living in a society where, the Eurocentric, or I like to call them whitey, they pretty much have everything locked down. And it's just systematic. It isn't by, accident that things are set up the way they are. And that's where I think where one should start is, why is that? That's one of the first questions I ask getting that from KRS-One, is why is that? And when you go through that quest of asking questions, because if you can think about it, when you were a child, or when you look at a child has nothing but questions. And then it's that adult that tells them that eventually, because they don't know and then are embarrassed to tell them they don't know, they tell them you're just not supposed to know. And that shuts down a person's ability to be able to analyze and constructively look at a situation and make a situation or determination for themselves. So propaganda, the mass media, like I like to call it, has been doing a wonderful job of keeping the masses controlled as far as what we think is hot, what we think is not, and what we think is best for us. And when it all comes down to it, we're too busy trying to be like them when you break it down instead of understanding who we are. So I understand that mass media is an area that has been voided ever since. You look at our black press now, and we look at like Jet Magazine and Essence Magazine, you can see who owns them by the first 15 to 20 pages of advertisements that you see. That's something you'll never see in the Ghetto Tymz, because we are basically African-centered, and we're going to remain African-centered.